Hi, Andrew here from SoCal Realty Investment. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to check out our home buyer's guide. It's an amazing guide, chock full of information. If you click down the link down below, you'll get this PDF. It's like 20 pages or something, and it's absolutely just step by step, but each step is really detailed out well for you. In this little video, I'm just going to do sort of a brush strokes to give you a basic idea. Anyways, the very first step when buying a home is I want you to remember and keep in mind that as the buyer's agent, you don't pay anything. That's a very, very important part of this whole thing. You do not pay for it. In fact, the seller is the one who pays the commission. And so they pay, anywhere between 5 and 6% is normal. And then the buyer's agent, that's me, and the seller's agent, we split that commission. So really, by having a buyer's agent represent you, is not costing you anything. Now, first step, you need to have your financing in place. What I mean by that is your deposit, your closing costs, your financing if you're going to finance. Maybe you're going to have the whole amount, but that's our first step. So, a lot of people have like 3% down or 20% down if they're trying to avoid the PMI. And again, if you know what PMI is, it's in that booklet. A lot of people just have cash, you want to buy it outright, but most people have to go get financing. And so if you don't know a good mortgage broker, I can always put you on. I have lots in my Rolodex, but that's our first step. Let's get you pre-approved. That way we also know what our budget is, because without knowing our budget, well, that's a bit difficult to start searching. Now, once we know our budget and we have a pre-approval letter, then we're going to try to identify what are you looking for. Are you an investor? Are you a first-time buyer? Are you buying for your family? Are you buying for you, for you to live with your mother? I really don't know. And so what I mean by that is we'll start identifying what are the needs of your home. We'll select the area, and we will get about 20, 30 homes for you to look at, not to go preview. And of those, we'll start narrowing it down to our top 5 or whatever. And then we will go out and go into the homes. We'll go see them. Because remember, it's one thing on paper and pictures, but it's another thing being in the home. And, a lot of people always turn to me when we're out looking at homes. They go, "What do you think, Andrew?" And I'm like, it's not for me to think. Remember that, a home is something that you feel. You feel when you walk in, this is my home. I want this. I love this. I see myself there. I see my renters there. Whatever the home, whatever your needs are. But the point is for you to feel the space. Once we decide on the home that you want and we're ready to write an offer, that's when I really get to work. That's when I become important, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the background and I'm going to run a CMA, and I'm going to run, a competitive market analysis. I'm going to look at what's selling, what's buying, who's buying, how much are they coming in? Is it 10 buyers? Is there one offer? When was the last offer? There's so many factors when deciding to make an offer. And not only that, there's so many factors on how to present the offer. What's the right time? What's the right ingredients in the offer? There's so many little things in an offer that you have to sort of focus on. Now, don't worry, you're in great hands. I mean, just this year alone, I've done 27 home purchases for my clients. So believe me, I do this all the time. I know how to do this. I do this well. And actually, I do it the best, never mind well, but that's not really the point. The point is I'm very, very, very good at what I do and getting you the home you want. But this video is way too short to give you all the details on how we negotiate. But of course, once we submit the offer, they will counteroffer. They always do. And that's normal. And what we'll do is take a look at their counter, and sellers have got all kinds of little things, don't do this, that, blah, blah, blah. But we will negotiate, and we will find the happy medium with our counter back, and eventually we will head into escrow. Now, once we have a good offer and it's accepted and we're in escrow, now the clock starts, and we have all these little things along the timeline that we have to achieve, and we have to lift contingencies. We have to make sure that our loan is fully checked out and approved by underwriting. We have to do inspections. We have to do pest control. There's so many things, but lucky I have a staff. I have a full staff, including a transaction coordinator. I call her my TC, and she handles everything for us. So she takes care that we don't miss any deadlines. We don't miss any important documents. We are on track. That's her sole purpose. So don't worry, I will never get distracted. She never gets distracted. This is all she does. So she handles that transaction start to finish and make sure we meet all those deadlines. Now, once we actually get to the closing table and we're ready to sign, there are a million documents. Trust me, it's wow. It's in California. That being said, that's why I'm there. I'm going to show you what are the important documents, what are not, what's important for you to sign, it's not that you can't sign, but there are certain things we want to read with a fine-tooth comb, and there are certain things you don't have a choice. For example, you need to acknowledge that we live in an earthquake zone. Okay, do I need to read 20 pages of the acknowledgements? No, because if we live in we all know we live and there's a potential of an earthquake. And by you not signing it means you don't get the home, because you cannot not sign it. So there you go. So my point being is there's no reason to read that with a fine-tooth comb, but there's many other documents we need to really watch for the little stuff. But we'll get through it. And once we do, and we fully sign, they will fund the house, and we will close. Once we close, we will go down to the title company will go down to the county's office, and they will register. And once it is registered, hooray, congratulations, you are now the homeowner. And yes, the taxes start, the insurance starts, and everything else starts, but I'll walk you through all of that and changing of your address and all that other stuff. Don't worry, it's all part of living, and it's fun. You've got to just look at it. It is exciting times for sure. You'll get the keys, you'll start moving in. I'll have checklists for you, what you should be looking for. And of course, I'll give you a little gift at the end, so that way you have something to remember me by and refer me to all your friends. Anyways, again, there's a lot to think about. If you look down below, there's that link that's to the PDF. That's a lot to read through. And then if you want to jump on a phone call with me, look all the way down below that. There's this calendar. Just book a time with me. I'll devote 15 minutes. I'll devote 2 hours, whatever you need. We can have a long chat about how we get going on the buying process. Until then, I'm excited to work with you. I look forward to working with you, and I hope you have a great day.